Zora Daniels sat in her car, calm and composed as Officer Wilson approached with suspicion in his eyes. The moment he told her to step out, she refused to consent to a search, her voice steady but firm. Wilson's prejudice flared as he threatened her, making it clear that he saw her as just another person who didn't know their place. What he didn't know was that Zora wasn't just anyone. She was a Navy SEAL, trained in combat, discipline, and survival. She had faced enemies far more dangerous than a small-town cop with a power complex. Returning home for the first time in years, Zora had only intended to visit family, not get caught in a situation like this. But as Wilson fabricated a reason to arrest her, falsely accusing her of resisting and assaulting him, she knew this wasn't just about her. It was about every person who had been unfairly targeted by officers like Wilson. As she was taken to the station, her mind didn't focus on anger or injustice. It focused on strategy, on survival, on what needed to be done to fight back. At the station, Wilson continued to build his case against her, claiming he found drugs in her car. Zora remained silent, knowing better than to play into his hands. Officer Diaz, a younger cop, noticed inconsistencies in Wilson's claims, but fear kept him silent. As Zora was booked, she made a single call, speaking in coded military language. It wasn't to family or a lawyer, it was to her commanding officer. And from that moment, the clock started ticking on Wilson's downfall. As Wilson's lies unraveled in the courtroom, Zora's true strength began to emerge. At first, her public defender seemed like any other overworked lawyer, eager to push a plea deal. But when she refused, when she stood her ground, something shifted. Then, a new lawyer entered the picture, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen of the Judge Advocate General's Corps. The military was now involved. Wilson, confident in his past successes, recounted his version of events under oath. He described a traffic stop turned violent, an aggressive woman attacking him with military precision, and a discovery of illegal substances. But when the defense played the dashcam footage, the truth was clear: Zora never moved. She had never attacked him. The security footage further confirmed it. Then came the most damning evidence. An expert witness debunked Wilson's supposed injuries, proving they were either exaggerated or self-inflicted. Even more shocking, Zora's true military record was revealed. She wasn't just in the Navy, she was one of the most elite operatives in the country. If she had actually attacked Wilson, he wouldn't be sitting in that courtroom with just a few marks on his face. As the weight of the evidence crushed Wilson's fabricated case, he began to unravel. He lashed out, nearly letting a racial slur slip as he screamed about the system being rigged against him. But it was too late. The judge dismissed all charges against Zora and called for an investigation into Wilson. Then, the final blow came. Federal agents stepped forward, placing Wilson under arrest for evidence tampering, perjury, and civil rights violations. Zora had done more than just clear her name. She had exposed a system of corruption, intimidation, and injustice that had plagued her hometown for years. The evidence gathered against Wilson led to a broader investigation into the police department, and Sergeant Miller, once complicit in Wilson's schemes, turned against him to save himself. The system that had protected corrupt officers for so long was finally being dismantled. Days later, Zora met with Diaz, the young officer who had hesitated but ultimately made the right choice. The department was now implementing real oversight, body cameras that couldn't be turned off, review boards with actual authority, training that went beyond just checking boxes. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Her leave almost over, Zora returned to her military duties, but not before stopping by her father's grave. The system that had once broken him had failed to break her. Because of her, the town was a little more just, a little safer for the people who lived there. And for a warrior like Zora Daniels, that was the victory that mattered most. As Wilson sat in a prison cell, stripped of the power he once abused, Zora walked away with her honor intact, her mission complete, and a legacy of justice that would outlast them all.